It's not 125%, it's 145%, the U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods.
I've been an advocate for raising it to 400% in one move. This narrative with China is not just about tariffs. Since China joined the WTO in 2020, or it's actually 2000, they have not abided by the rules in any single year. They're allowed to use our legal system to sue me here in the United States. I can't do the same in China. I don't care if it's 1,000% tariffs. They have to come to the table now. I love the Chinese people. All of their contributions to culture over the millennia is well documented. He's the supreme leader for life. What keeps him in power?
Yes.
Keeping people employed and fed.
This is an incredibly refreshing video with Kevin O'Leary on MSNBC talking to the host about all of the cheating that China is doing with trade and how we should go about it and what we should do in order to stop it. And the MSNBC anchor has some paradoxical and misinformation, things that he's saying in which he's flip-flopping his argument. But nevertheless, this is a good exchange that you need to see. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's watch the video.
Hey, Kevin, what's your reaction to this now? I guess when they went over the math, it's not 125%, it's 145%, the U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods.
I've been an advocate for raising it to 400% in one move to force Xi to the table, because this narrative with China is not just about tariffs. Since China joined the WTO in 2020, or it's actually 2000, they have not abided by the rules in any single year. There is no way you can figure out or settle a trade dispute with them. Although they said they'd agree to do that, they never did. They have been constantly stealing American IP, including many from my companies. We have not been able to litigate there. There is no resolution available to us. They are using our financial markets. I have to compete with Chinese companies that don't abide by GAAP, listing on NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange for investors' dollars, and I am forced to comply, and they're not. They're allowed to use our legal system to sue me here in the United States. I can't do the same in China. So I'm just one hand. I put up my hand. I was testifying yesterday at the China hearings in Washington, and I said I've had enough. And I expect you, lawmakers, and the administration to finally go to task and settle this once and for all, because I don't care if it's 1,000% tariffs. They have to come to the table now and not just settle this trade war. They need to settle all of this unbalanced situation. We need, all of us, look, I have nothing against the Chinese people. I love the Chinese people. All of their contributions to culture over the millennia is well documented. It's the government. They cheat, they steal, they don't play by the rules, and I've had enough. And so I would like this thing worked out. I don't care about the volatility. I don't care if Trump ratchets it up 25% a day.
What do you mean?
But
Wait, Kevin, what do you mean you don't care about volatility if volatility has a direct impact on us as the consumers?
Because we have to fix this problem once and for all. It's killing us. It's killing small business in America. It's killing large businesses. All the IP these guys steal. You go back and look at all of their technological advancements, and this is a personal estimation, you're going to find source code from American companies back 4 decades ago. These guys don't play by the rules. And administration after administration, whether it be European or American, have not dealt with this. It's enough. We've got to solve this problem.
Okay.
Now, if we have to squeeze Chinese heads to the wall, as I said yesterday when I was testifying, so be it. I'm willing to live with the volatility to get the long situation settled. I want to compete in China. I want to open up those markets.
If what you're saying is carried out to its ultimate solution, you're talking about the fact that China, the regime, has a system in place that is able to manipulate the world, its currency and everything else because of its totalitarian nature. Now, we can talk about what happened in 48. We can talk about what happened with Taiwan. We can talk about everything else. But Kevin, it's a reality. The Cultural Revolution in China killed millions of people so that people would remember that they had to remain silent. What you're saying is, I've had enough with China, but
you're good with it?
No,
you're okay with it?
No. On the contrary, but what I'm asking you is, what is the solution to dealing with China, a system that systematically violates human rights,
Here's
and
how
that
it
it's
works.
able to use.
This is obvious, typical left-leaning news media journalist stuff. In one moment, the news anchor is saying, "We can't do this. This isn't fair. How are we going to do this? What does this look like for a long-term conclusion? This is not going to be good." And then, once he's pressed by Kevin O'Leary about, do you want this to continue with China taking advantage of us? Then he changes the narrative and says, no, I don't want this to continue. I don't want this to continue. Absolute nonsense. Let's continue to watch this to see how Kevin O'Leary continues to rip him apart, and see what this CNBC and MSNBC report has to say about this. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Well, you
That's how
asked
it
me, I'm going
works,
to tell
right?
you. You got Xi.
Okay.
He's the supreme leader for life. What keeps him in power?
Yes.
Keeping his people employed and fed. Now, when you shut down a factory, I think Janice Mackey-Ferrer just on before me, he's talked about this. When you shut down a factory, you put thousands, if not tens of thousands of people unemployed in China. They take burning torches, just like in a Frankenstein movie, up to the castle, and that's a bad outcome for the supreme leader. He knows that. Now, what's the largest consumer market on earth? The United States. Almost 40% of all goods consumed worldwide. What's the largest GDP? 25 or 26% GDP of the world? The United States of America. China needs the United States of America. We have the upper hand right now. We have the cards. Now's the time to settle this, because we may not be the largest economy forever, but right now we can squeeze Chinese, and I'm talking about the government, not the people, to comply with the laws and get a level playing field between China and the United States of America. If it takes a little volatility, a little indigestion, a little acid reflux, I don't care. I want this thing worked out now, because I can show you countless occurrences of where I have backed, as an investor, a company that gets to 5 million in sales with a consumer good or service on Amazon, on Alibaba, and then as soon as it hits 5 million, it's knocked off. They steal the IP, they manufacture it there, they sell it back into this market. I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with that anymore.
That's the nature of the
Let's go
regime.
after
So
them.
what you're calling for is a regime change in China?
No. We don't have to change the regime. Xi has to come to the table and understand he's got to work this out. Otherwise, is a bad outcome for him. And listen, there's something else you should be aware of, and I saw this happen yesterday. It's now public information. This Paul Atkins guy was confirmed for the head of the SEC. And why that matters, I don't know if you saw that letter from Rick Scott. What he said, I'm not going to confirm you unless you agree to uphold the law that the previous administration did not uphold about delisting Chinese companies that do not abide by GAAP. There's billions of market cap right now listed on NASDAQ and NYSE companies that I have to compete with. I have to pay for the compliance costs. I have to be transparent. I have to abide by the law, and they don't. And they raise money with the same bankers I use, and I have to compete with them, and they're not being transparent. They have to get delisted. And Atkins, I guess, they must have had an agreement because he got confirmed. As soon as he gets sworn in, start delisting these Chinese companies. This law was modified to only give them 2 years to abide and actually comply, and they didn't. So delist them. Why should I have to compete with them? Let's squeeze them. Just keep going and going and going until they start complying. That's what I want.
Kevin, it's an interesting perspective. I very much appreciate it. I hope we can continue our conversation. I am a big student of history, and I have been troubled by what the Maoist revolution and what has happened since then in China has meant, not only for the Chinese people and for the Uyghurs and for so many others, but also how they have, through their complete control of that system, been able to manipulate things and been able to exploit people throughout the world. Kevin, I thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Good things to come, I think.
I agree completely with Kevin O'Leary. Like he said in this interview, the cheating from China has to stop. China has been cheating in their markets. They've been cheating with trade. They've been cheating with IP. They've been cheating with their goods, and it has to stop. We have to squeeze them out on their market manipulation. We have to squeeze them out with the radical and unfair trade that they're doing, and we have to bring Xi to the table to make sure that he does things fair. All America wants to do, like I've said before, is bring the trade tariffs and percentages down. Bring it down for all countries. We're not trying to squeeze China, and we're definitely not going to let China squeeze us. At the end of the day, we're trying to get fair trade for everyone. So, I hope you liked this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you on the next video.